Dear students, welcome to our class on Micrometeorology of Crops, Photosynthesis 4. In this class, we try to understand the summary of photosynthesis, which is only required for micrometeorology students, because all the PG or PhD students of agricultural meteorology usually take soil science and crop physiology or plant physiology as their minor subjects. However, as far as micrometeorology course of agricultural meteorology is concerned from the Department of Agricultural Meteorology, there also the photosynthesis has to be dealt in such a way that what I have tried my level best with my own working with innumerable students, their opinion, my colleague teachers, above all, my mentors and professors. Okay, so there, I would like to underline this important point that once again, in the first 5 short videos in the micrometeorology, I dealt solar radiation. Next 5 short videos on temperature. Another 5 short videos on wind. Another 5 short videos on water in the form of rainfall. Now, so after covering these 4 major weather elements, photosynthesis, how in the micrometeorology course of agriculture meteorology department, not in the crop physiology or plant physiology department wise, we should not think, because they are in an elaborate way the wonderful teachers, excellent research findings they say it, but from the micrometeorology point of view only 4 and 5 also I am covering. In the beginning, I would like to enlighten you once again that CO2 plus H2O plus energy, okay, CH2O plus oxygen minus energy, you get it in the photosynthesis, where unlike all the organisms need food, similarly crops also, plants also. I am a human being, I try to have my own food, animals try to have their own food, but plants produce their own food because they are autotrophic. Here, what I said a half minute back, from the atmosphere, the carbon dioxide plus water from the roots or aquatic precipitation, they take it, and of course energy from the solar radiation. Okay, so carbohydrates are formed, oxygen is released with little energy. Now here, another important point is since plants are autotrophic, so that means they produce their own food. They never depend on other organic sources for their food. So here, one important point I would like to discuss, and if time permit, please write this important point. What is that? Gas exchange in the leaf occurs. Gas exchange in the leaf occurs through stomata. Gas exchange in the leaf occurs through stomata. Gas exchange in the leaf occurs through stomata, while water is made available through xylem and carbohydrates removed through phloem. Okay, there is a xylem and phloem. So in the water enters and then carbohydrates are removed. So these two respectively take up their responsibilities, discharge their responsibilities. Okay, now here with reference to another important point, a basic principle. The basic principle is the photosynthetic process. Please write this one. This bit will come in the GRF. Even in the crop physiology or in the soil science also, the photosynthetic process is determined by the single internal or external factor. The single internal or external factor present in relative minimum amount. What exactly does it mean? Say for example, for most plants, light is limiting, but CO2 becomes limiting during the periods of bright sunshine. CO2 becomes a limiting factor during the hours of bright sunshine. That is why midday depression water is at its field capacity in the soil, enough sunlight is there, but more the temperature is there. Another problem is CO2. Another thing, when plants are chlorotic, why the plants become chlorotic? Either because of the nutrient deficiency or because of some disease problem or pest problem, because they become chlorotic. Now, under these two circumstances, plants are deprived of at least one of the major three things. What are the three things that are essential for photosynthesis? Carbon dioxide, water, and solar radiant energy. Now here I would like to enlighten you another important point, that before that, please note that this bit will come. The photosynthetic process is determined by the single internal or external factor present in the relative minimum amount. Relative minimum amount means CO2, water, or chlorophyll, etc. Any other factor that are involved in the photosynthetic process. Here, the action spectrum. See, this is the leaf. This is the leaf. Solar radiation is falling. VIBZYOR. In all the books of Asia, Europe, America, it is more than confirmed that 0.4 to 0.7 microns has 41% of the energy. However, for photosynthetic processes, 0.35 to 0.95 microns are taken into consideration with reference to the basic agricultural research or basic crop physiological or plant physiological research is concerned. Once again, I would like to state that 0.35 to 0.95 microns for research purposes we take, the reasons of which I have already dealt in the solar radiation. Now here, another important thing I would like to share with you is that same point in a summary form, from micrometeorological point of view, the action spectrum for photosynthesis. What is the action spectrum for photosynthesis? The light part, VIBZYOR, 0.4 to 0.7 or 0.35 to 0.95, near infrared band is there. Thermal. Relating photosynthesis efficiency to wavelength. What are the wavelengths? VIBZYOR, more, but 0.66 microns. Relative to wavelength of light shows that chlorophyll is the main effective pigment. The chlorophyll in the leaf, chlorophyll in some other parts of the plant also is there. Chlorophyll is the main pigment. For in photosynthesis, although other accessory pigments may help by transferring their absorbed energy to chlorophyll. So energy is carbon dioxide is reduced to carbohydrates. How and what we have earlier discussed. Even for your academic interest, I would like to read two more lines on this particular electron. No need to write, I have already enlightened you. In this process, the stable water molecule H2O is cleaved, that means photolized, by radiant energy absorbed in the chloroplast. Radiant energy absorbed in the chloroplast. Water is cleaved or photolized. Now, the resulting electrons are passed through intermediary carriers and used to reduce CO2 to the level of carbohydrate. Carbon dioxide is reduced to carbohydrate. This is another important thing I would like to share. Now, here, so there are two photosystems, photosystem 1, photosystem 2. Before I go to explaining, first you please understand this line. The water molecule is effectively cleaved. The water molecule is effectively cleaved when, after ionization, the hydroxyl ion transfers an electron. The hydroxyl ion transfers an electron to a light excited chlorophyll. When light is falling on the leaf or chlorophyll, it is light excited chlorophyll. It is light excited chlorophyll. Then what will happen? Molecule in PS2, photosystem 2, that has ejected one of its own electrons, of course, from the resulting hydroxyl free radical oxygen is released in the photosynthesis. Okay, this is what I would like to explain once again, that two photosystems, PS1 and PS2, work together in photosynthesis. In both, the initial event following quantum absorption is the ejection of an electron. Ejection of electron is the first, and it's a temporary capture by a compound with a high oxidation potential, high redox potential otherwise. Okay, now, so the successive transfer of this electron to compounds with lower and lower redox potentials is accompanied by the storage of some of the energy as ATP, adenosine triphosphate. So, in the overall process termed photophosphorylation, the ATP is synthesized chemoosmotically when a photon gradient is established across the thylakoid membrane by the transfer of protons by the carrier plastoquinone. Plastoquinone, in other books also is right. Plastoquinone, and by protons from photolyzed water molecule. That's what I told here. Photolyzed, from the resulting hydroxyl, free radical oxygen is released. Now, so when the protons diffuse out through special channels in the thylakoid membrane, their energy is conserved through the synthesis of ATP from ADP and organic phosphates. That's what we call it as the PI. This I covered in the photosynthesis 2 and 3. Even in the solar radiation 2, I have covered this one. That's why I don't want to repeat once again. Now, so together with ATP, this compound can reduce. Which compound? NADPH. What is NADPH? Nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide phosphate. So together with ATP, NADPH compound can reduce CO2 to the level of carbohydrate. Finally, I would like to say from the energy point of view that ATP and NADPH are the products of the light reactions. ATP and NADPH are the products of the light reactions. Once again, I would like to read for your academic interest. Some of the electronics, some of the electrons during water photolysis terminated in a reduced carrier, that is NADPH. Together with NADPH and ATP plus NADPH, they reduce the CO2 to the level of carbohydrates. Carbon dioxide is reduced to the carbohydrates. Now finally, ATP and NADPH are the products of the light reactions in photosynthesis. All the rest part is of a dark reaction. So why I am not covering again light reaction, dark reaction or slackened pathway, or I have covered the same in the C3 and C4 plant. Repetition is not required. So I would like to conclude it like this. After learning solar radiation in 5 short videos, temperature, wind and water, 5 each, we are trying to sum up in the form of photosynthesis. This is not exactly what the wonderful crop physiology or plant physiology science says us. From micrometeorology point of view, it is the best. Thanking you for your patient hearing.